So the FinOps Foundation just dropped Focus 1.3, and let me tell you, it's a way bigger deal than just a little point 3 update. This isn't just another revision. Nope. It's a huge signal that how we manage tech spending is fundamentally changing, moving out of spreadsheets and plugging directly into our core cloud infrastructure. But hey, let's back up a bit and start with a question you've probably been asking yourself. Why on earth is my cloud bill getting so confusing? And look, it is not just you. Let's be real, as we all jump into multi-cloud, Kubernetes, a million SaaS tools, and now this huge wave of AI workloads, just figuring out what we're paying for has become a massive headache. And that, right there, is the heart of the matter. We're at this major turning point where cloud cost data isn't just something for monthly report anymore. It's becoming this critical operational data that's supposed to drive real engineering and automation decisions. So let's dive into the problem, which I like to call cloud cost chaos. For pretty much any large organization today, the reality is this tangled, messy web of different cloud providers, and every single one has its own weird, unique way of billing. I mean, just look at the modern cloud stack. It is seriously complex. You've got your multi-cloud providers, Kubernetes, all your SaaS platforms, and now AI workloads. Each one of these things spits out cost data in its own totally inconsistent format. And this just grinds everything to a halt, right? It slows down finance teams trying to track the money and engineering teams who are just trying to build cool stuff efficiently. And all that chaos, well, it leads to what we can call the data dilemma. And look, the problem isn't just that the data is messy. It's about what that messiness actually does to your day-to-day operations, the critical failures it causes. You can really boil this dilemma down to 3 major pain points that teams are hitting every single day. You've got these ambiguous shared costs, contract details that are basically invisible, and just plain unreliable data quality. So let's break down what each of these really looks like. All right, first up, shared costs. Just think about a Kubernetes cluster being used by, say, 10 different teams. Who pays for the control plane? How do you even begin to split the cost of that shared storage? The truth is, right now, cost allocation is all over the place. Teams end up having to rely on custom-built scripts and, honestly, pure guesswork. And that, well, it's impossible to audit, and it sure as heck doesn't scale. Okay, number 2, invisible contracts. I'm talking about your big-ticket items, your reserved instances, committed use discounts, those new AI service deals. So often, they live in a totally different universe from your daily cost and usage data. And that makes it incredibly hard to know if you're even using what you paid for or how much of that big commitment you still have left. And that brings us to the third killer, data quality. You know, as we try to get smarter with automation for things like scaling or showback, the quality of our data becomes everything. Late or incomplete data doesn't just cause a little hiccup, it can literally break your entire pipeline and just torpedo any trust anyone has in the FinOps numbers. So, what's the fix? How do we get out of this mess? This is exactly where the new Focus 1.3 specification comes into play. You can think of it like the universal translator for cloud costs, designed specifically to solve these data challenges. And for anyone who's not familiar, FOCUS stands for the FinOps Open Cost and Usage Specification. The whole idea is to create one single standardized format, a common language, if you will, for all of your technology spending, no matter if it's coming from AWS, a SaaS tool, or some new AI platform. Okay, so this is the really cool part. Let's map Focus 1.3's solutions directly back to the problems we just talked about. For those ambiguous shared costs, it introduces clear rules for split cost allocation. For those hidden contracts, it creates a dedicated data set just for your commitments. And for that unreliable data, it adds metadata so you know exactly how fresh and how complete your data actually is. Okay, that all sounds great on paper, right? But what does this actually mean for you and for your team in the real world? Let's break down the impact for a few different roles. For all you platform engineers out there, this is a massive game changer. Before, you were stuck writing custom logic, making a bunch of assumptions, and doing manual data cleanup just to get a handle on costs. Now, with a standardized, reliable data stream, you can start integrating cost signals directly into your CI/CD pipelines. You can build automated governance that manages costs proactively, not after the fact. And for my FinOps friends, this is a huge strategic shift. I mean, the goal has always been about optimizing value, but let's be honest, most of your time has been sucked up just trying to normalize data from a dozen different places. As Focus becomes the industry standard and big players like AWS are already getting on board, you get to spend way less time doing that manual data janitor work and a lot more time on high-impact, strategic work that actually moves the needle. So let's pull back for a second. What does all of this really mean for the future of FinOps as a whole? Because this is about so much more than just getting better reports. This right here is the key takeaway. The Focus 1.3 update is a sign that cost data is finally growing up. It's not just some business metric you glance at once a month anymore. It's maturing into production-grade, shared infrastructure, a reliable data layer that you can confidently build real automation and business logic on top of. And that brings us to the final and most important question. This new, reliable infrastructure for cost data, it's here, and it's only getting stronger. So the question isn't really about the tech anymore. It's about us. Is your organization ready to stop just looking at costs and start building on them?